So, may I record this video for educational purposes?
Sure.
Okay, that was our informed consent.
Okay.
So, what brings you in here today?
So, I've been really feeling very frustrated at my job, and I feel like it's affecting other aspects of my life as well.
Okay, which job?
I'm a bartender.
Okay. So, in what aspects is it becoming frustrating for you?
So, it's just not it's kind of like a toxic work environment right now. Like, I feel like the coworkers that I have aren't really, we don't really work that well together. Not even generally me, but just like the whole restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes going to work so much more exhausting when you work with people that just you don't get along with and seem incompetent in their job. And so I feel like I find myself dreading going to work, and while I'm there I find myself I can step into work and be in a good mood, and I leave work in a really bad mood, and then that I feel like affects the rest of my day.
Mm-hmm. So with these feelings and dreading going to work, which is not a good thing, have you thought about maybe switching jobs or just flat out leaving this job?
I have, but it's just right now I'm so busy with school that the thought of like going on a job search and all of that, I'm a little afraid to like leave my comfort zone, because as much as I don't like going to work, the money is enough and the hours work perfectly with work, so it does have those benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I'm just like too tired and too busy to try and look for a new job right now, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Is your frustration at work and this upsetting, is it affecting your schoolwork?
I don't know. It's like I feel like it might be, because when I'm in a bad mood, I don't really feel like going home and doing schoolwork. Like I guess I've never thought of it like that.
Yeah, I know. When you have a job that you hate, whether it's your coworkers not working with you or bad management, you're gonna hate going to work, and it's gonna affect more than just your mood and wanting to go to work. It's gonna affect your relationships, because people are gonna see you as angry.
Yeah, and I also, like, to complicate it maybe a little bit, my boyfriend works with me at work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard sometimes when you're home, because we live together, to separate it. It almost feels like we can't get away. I mean, we agree. We, like, feel the same way towards work, so it's not that we fight about it. But sometimes it feels like when I leave work, I go home and we just talk about all the terrible stuff that happened at work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like hard to separate the two, so I feel like it really is kind of like consuming my life.
Have you guys decided maybe of setting like some boundaries, like, okay, when we come home you can talk about it for this much, and then the rest is no talk about work till the next day?
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea, because talking about it sometimes is good, because I feel like when after a heavy duty rant you feel better, because you feel a little bit like, but then you can take it too far and just go on. So yeah, maybe we should say like, oh, we can talk about it for like 15 minutes right when we get home, and after that we're not going to talk about it anymore, because he feels the same frustration. He wants to quit. It's not, we agree with that part.
Yeah.
But
have you talked to your coworkers?
Yeah, so I had a meeting with a manager a couple months ago, so that's how long it's been going on for. Just that I kind of saw the writing on the wall and was like, this isn't going to be working very well. But it's frustrating, because I don't feel like much has changed, even after like having a sit-down meeting with a manager. I thought I acted very professionally.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seems like the same stuff is happening. And then I went away for 2 weeks, and I was hoping that maybe by the time I got back, some changes would have been made, but it's like only worse.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you go for the 2 weeks?
I actually went to Scotland and Ireland for 2 weeks.
Well, that sounds like a good time. Was it nice to like get that break?
Oh my God, it was so nice. And I don't know if maybe that's why I'm feeling even more, because I was so far away from all the drama at work, that coming back, it's almost even more, like, gets you even more down, because you kind of I forgot about it for 2 weeks. I was so far away, and then coming back, it almost makes it worse.
How often do you go on? I realize that was a big trip, but maybe how often do you go on like little trips or little adventures to relax?
See, that's I think the other reason I really don't like work is because I do work in a restaurant, and so weekends are our busiest time. So I work every weekend, Friday through Sunday. And then during the week, I have class and I have schoolwork, so I don't go away. So I feel like it's actually really hard, unless I plan and take time off work, to even get 2 days off, to like, say it's the summer, to go to the beach. It's almost impossible because I either have class during the week, and then the weekends, Thursday through Sunday, I work the whole weekend. So it's kind of frustrating because you really can't get away, even for like a day or two.
So pretty much you're either working or doing school. You don't have any downtime or relax time that you need to be taking care of yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, at least that's how it feels. And it's not even so much that I don't have the time. It's like I don't have enough time. You know what I mean? Like I might have an afternoon off, but I don't have like a full day. Or I might have the morning, but then I have to be at work by 5. So it's like I have enough time to like, do little things like go to the gym, and if I want to go out to dinner once in a while, but I never have like a full day, or so it feels like.
Well, I mean, sometimes if you know your schedule, I know with me and my partner, we try to find times where things match up and we go, a day to my grandparents to the goat farm, because those will make you feel so much better. But just finding that time, even if it is something small, go to dinner, go have a small picnic at the park, just something fun where you're away from school, you're away from, work, and just something that's away from both those areas is the big key.
I've been thinking of like talking to work and requesting to have Mondays off so that I don't have class on Mondays. And I feel like if I tell them like I can't work Mondays, it would like ensure that I have at least one full day a week off. You know what I mean? Just tell them like I can't work, and it's a slow day, so I don't really mind. Like restaurants on Monday are never busy, so it's not like I'm giving that much up. And I feel like that would at least ensure me that I have at least one day a week to myself.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's going to help your frustration. It's going to kind of give you more time to relax, because it's not only going to help your work situation, it might help your school situation.
Yeah.
Because you also have a little more time to do homework and relax and not worry, okay, I have to rush home and do homework.
Right. And I think since I've started this program, I've been working on kind of like a self-goal of mine is to be a little bit more, what's the word? Not so much of a pushover, a little bit more vocal about my frustrations in a professional way, because I think as a school counselor we've been told that you'll have to do that, you'll have to know how to do that, stand up for yourself basically.
Yeah, because as a school counselor they're going to ask you to do bus duty and lunch duty, and yes, you're faculty, but that's not your job.
Right.
It's specifically maybe doing it here and there.
Yeah, and so
I think standing up for yourself is a good goal for you.
Yeah, me too. So I think I'm going to try and work on that. I don't want to look like a rat, and I don't want to look like a suck up running to a manager or the boss. See, that's the other thing too. It's like, you don't want to alienate, because my coworkers as people are fine. I'll go out and have a drink with them. That's fine. They just don't work very well. We don't work very well together. You know what I mean? So I don't want to like alienate them and be seen as like, teacher's pet at work. So it's like I don't want to run to a manager. So I think I need to like work on being able to speak to them in a professional way about things that they're doing that like it really would be helpful if they stopped doing, like calling out of work all the time.
Maybe it's more difficult to go to your coworkers than your manager, but in the long run it'll probably be better, because once you go to your coworkers, if those things don't change and the manager knows you've gone to your coworkers, they might be able to take more steps in fixing the problem.
I think that might even show coworkers that like I respect them enough to go to them first, and if they continue doing what is bothering me, and a lot of people, it's not like if I was the only one that was feeling this way, I'd be like, okay, maybe something's wrong with me. But other than the few coworkers who I'm talking about that just don't work well, everybody in the restaurant is feeling the same way. You know what I mean? Like I started working there 2 years ago, and the feeling inside the restaurant has changed. You know what I mean? Like it used to be really fun and positive, and like everyone got along, and it was like a really great place to work. And slowly, just like 2 or 3 people that have come on board since then have just made it like I feel like everyone from the old guard, like me and other people that have worked there for a really long time, all feel the same way. So it's like I also know it's not just me being, it's it's other people share the same sentiments as me. So I feel like if I can learn to speak to them first, and then if they don't, continue to go to a manager, and then the manager doesn't do anything, I guess I could just go to the owner.
Yeah. It's knowing your right steps.
Yeah.
I mean, going straight to the owner is obviously not the issue. I mean, not the right thing to do.
Right.
So I think you have a good plan. What classes are you taking this summer?
So I'm taking Pre-Practicum, Family Therapy, Psychosocial, and then in the second summer I'm doing Consultation. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, at least they're spread out.
Yeah, I actually dropped. I was supposed to also be doing alcohol and drug behavior, but it was just too much.
Yeah.
When the syllabuses came out and I saw everything, I just had a panic attack and dropped the class. But I honestly feel really good about dropping it. I think it would have ultimately led me to do really bad in all of my classes, to take on 4 summer session 1 classes. That would be too much.
Yeah, I was originally planning on doing that, and again, it was
Had
for
the same
best.
reaction.
You don't want to overdo it. We are in grad school in these courses, except for your pre-practicum, they're 16 weeks put into 5.
Right.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. I mean, if you watch the classes, you'll see people still haven't done certain assignments that are due. And I think people are freaking out because they're forgetting, some classes have 3 chapters and not 1 a week.
Right. And you plan, I feel like I've gotten really good at planning for a semester and being I can do this, this, this. And then you have to, basically fast forward that, times 3. You know what I mean? And be constantly reading. And I feel like I've already this week been, if I'm not doing schoolwork, I feel guilty. If I'm at home, last night, I have to say I watched the basketball game. But honestly, throughout the whole game, a little voice in my head was like, you should be reading. You should be reading for class. But I just ignored it.
Sometimes you just need to relax and watch a basketball game.
Yeah.
Play a basketball game.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you're reading, and taking your quizzes and prepping for your tests, you don't necessarily need to be reading all the time, and maybe making sure you're reading in the right way. Reading every single word is not the best way to study.
Right.
It's skimming and taking the right kind of notes.
Right.
So, and I mean, if you have notes, you'll be able to go through again when you have your test to okay, I've read this. Oh, I do remember this.
Right. I think, too, so when I first got back from my trip, I was on, my body clock was off. And so I was just on my own waking up at, 8 in the morning and being, really energized because my body felt like it was, 1 in the afternoon from where I had been. So for the first couple of days, I was waking up at 8, 8:30, and I got so much stuff done before noon. And I'm a sleeper. I usually sleep till 10:30, 11 in the morning easily. And I realized, wow, all of those schoolwork and extra stuff that I could get done in these hours that I'm wasting sleeping. So that's a goal I've set for myself this summer, is to get, not necessarily 8 in the morning because that's pretty early, but getting up around 8:30, 9 every morning, and knocking out a few hours of work that I wouldn't have done previously because I would be sleeping. So that's a goal I've set for myself that I think will make it less stressful to keep up with my work throughout the summer.
It's a good goal.
That's another frustration from work, though, because I'm a bartender, so I don't get out of work even during the week, until almost midnight. Because I'm a bartender at a restaurant, so it's it's not that I have to be there till 2. But I definitely don't leave. I leave around 12:31 Friday and Saturday nights, and I leave around 12 during the week. And so then I get home, and it takes me maybe an hour to unwind, or I'm hungry because I've been at work since 4, so I want to eat dinner at midnight. So then I don't really go to sleep until 2. So then it's a lot harder to wake up at 8 in the morning when you're going to bed at 1, 2. But it's because I've been at work until midnight, you know? So that's another thing that's been on my mind.
Okay. Are you a night person or a morning person, would you say?
So I'm a night person, but I'm not a productive night person.
Okay.
I stay up late, but I can't do productive things that late.
So you wouldn't stay up and write a paper till 4 a.m.?
No.
Okay.
I've literally never done that in my life.
Okay. Well,
so that I'm much more productive with schoolwork in the morning. If I get myself out of bed and get coffee in me, I'm way better in the morning.
Realistically, most of us don't like to do that.
Yeah.
So, at least you have some really good goals set for yourself. You know, you've got your productivity, you're going to talk to your coworkers, and you've got, even though you have frustrations, I feel like you have a good set plan.
Yeah.
And I think for the future, I feel like you should maybe attempt one of those this week, maybe talking to maybe one of your coworkers, and then when we meet again next week, maybe we can talk about how that went and go from there.
Okay.
And I hope, and maybe you can work some more on maybe setting a schedule and not procrastinating and being a pushover when it comes to your schoolwork as well.
Okay. I think that sounds good.
Yeah. Do you feel like you got a lot out of this session?
I do. Yeah. I guess I didn't realize, like, sometimes I can feel overwhelmingly frustrated, and it wasn't until I started really talking to you and you started saying stuff that I realized that I do have some goals set in place and some plans, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I didn't even realize that I did have that. So that's kind of reassuring.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And I can work on that for the rest of the week.
Perfect. Sounds like we have some goals and we have a meeting set for next time. So I feel like this is a good point to end this session, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.